TypeScript, we discussed about classes, and we discussed about interface. So what we learned about classes and interfaces, classes are actually new things, what is not there in JavaScript, and here we have the concept of configuring static. We have the concept of access modifiers. So interface is called as what? Contracts. How to create the contracts and define them, right? Next, inheritance, polymorphism are same. Inheritance is same, polymorphism is same, which already I explained in JavaScript concept. Here, additionally, you have another concept, that is abstraction. Another important is abstraction. Actually, what is abstraction? Why we need this in object-oriented programming? Actually, in object-oriented programming, technically we call these as templates. That means OOP supports templates. So actually abstraction is the concept, is the process of creating templates. OOP supports templates. Abstraction is the process of creating templates. So what is this template concept is? Generally, I hope you have the basic idea on, if you have any idea on other programming languages and some projects, one small concept I will explain actually. Generally in software technologies, our projects, we have different types of projects actually. So usually in the software technologies, you will find projects. We have different types of projects. We have various types of projects. Actually, what are the different types of projects? Generally, we have the projects like, right. We have the projects like, one is implementation project. Implementation project. We have support projects. Support. We have rollout projects, and we have upgrade projects. Actually, our software projects are classified into 4. That means when you are working in any software company as a developer, your job will be in any of these 4. That means you will be in implementation or support or rollout or upgrade. So do you have any idea on this? No? You don't have any idea on this? A software developer's role will be in any of these areas. Actually, what is implementation? Implementation project means people also call as end-to-end. Implementation means a client comes with a requirement for his business, and for that business we build a new app. He don't have any existing applications. He don't have any app. Even he want a new app from us. Then according to that business requirements, we build everything from scratch. That is what kind of project? Implementation. Majority all freshers in software company, their job will be here. That means all freshers, their job will be in implementation project. That means you are building an application from scratch. We have support projects. We have support projects. Actually, what is support project? Support project means already application is built. We given that application to client and the client is using application. While using the application, if any technical problem comes or some changes we need to do, that comes under which category? Support. So we are not building an application, already application is built. We are giving this application to client and he will start using that application. Then this is what kind of project? Support. So that means we have implementation support. Here there is no place for fresher because support is the toughest job. Generally what happens in implementation, there will be hundreds of people, hundreds of developers, but support, for suppose you are supporting a project of a US client, then in India, you will have 3 people support. In US, there will be some 3-4 people support. That means maximum it will be a number of 3 or 4 people supporting the project. That is very tough job that support applications. Upgrade means upgrade is nothing but we developed application in React 18 and we given to them. They started using and React 19 version came. And every time client don't want to upgrade to new version. So client says that some new features are there in React 19. We want those new features. Then what we do, we upgrade the application from 18 to 19, add the new features and implement. These kind of projects are called as what? Upgrade. And this is also not for fresher. This support upgrades, these are for experience. Rollout means rollout is nothing but actually what happens is suppose we have some business like Tata. These Tata people have a business or they have some Reliance have a business. They have business in US. They have business in India. Now for Indian business, we developed an app. Now Reliance want to expand its business to France. It want to do the same business in France. Then they want an app for that France business. Will you develop another app? The business is same, but we need to change according to that particular France requirements. Business is same, but according to their requirements, so many changes will be there. Will you develop an app again for them? We will not do that. Then what we do is we design a template for this Indian app. That means we will create a template for this app. And this template, we are going to roll out for France business. That means that template we roll out for France business. That means by making changes according to France business. During this time, this is called rollout. Rollout means you are rolling the application into a new business by making some changes. Now, in this rollout, what is the point is, during this rollout only you see people are sent on site. You know, in software companies, why people go on site? You say on site. What is the meaning of going on site? Why people are going on site? On site means what? So that means on-site is nothing but you are working for France business from India. Then Indian timings are different, France timings are different. Then you need to wake up early morning or late nights, you need to work and you need to support those people. These all are headache. Then what our company does is people who have experience very much in the team which developed the Indian app, from those they will select some good talented people because they are already working on that application from several years, and they will send to France. France is client location. That means they will send to France and they will say that for 2 months you will go on site, stay at client place and roll this template. There will be a team for you. You have to educate the team how to roll, means how to handle. That means what is your job on site? You go to client location and work at client location. So, and roll out the template and come back. Sometimes what happens is, so if client likes your work and very much impressed by your work, then client recommends that team in India that we want this person here only. Then some people from on-site, they continue in that client location. But many people, they don't show immediate interest in going to client location. Because, for example, people who have difficulty in managing the skills and all, here they are working, anyhow they are managing their work with the help of friends or some support, something. Such people will not fit. That means even sometimes you ask a team lead saying that you led the team, then better you go on site. Then team lead says that no, I don't want to go on site. Send this person from our team. Why people are not very much interested in going on site? They get more pay, but they are not very much interested every time. Why? Because lot of risk. Because sitting at client location, working for client is difficult. And if anybody can challenge themselves, then that's very easy thing. You have good skills, you can manage, you already done this project, then go and roll out. That is actually rollout. Rollout means what? We are not building an application, we are rolling the template. So software projects are so many types. So implementations, support, rollout. Because once you mention that I have 5-10 years experience, then in interviews they ask, in your 10 experience, how many implementations have you done? In your 10 years experience, how many supports projects you have worked on? In your 10 years experience, do you have any experience in upgrade projects? Because currently we need an upgrade. We have to put you in that. In your the experience of 10-15 years, do you have any rollout experience? These all are asked for experienced people, because sometimes they need those people, right? So why we discussed about this point? Because we need to understand it concept of template. That means what is a template? It contains some sample design which we will customize according to our requirement and we will implement. Here, that is one concept. So templates are used in which location? Mostly templates are used in which location? The templates are used in rollouts. Understood? The templates are used in rollouts. There is another place. Templates are not only used in rollout, there is another concept. For example, we are developing an application for, Suppose you belong to some IBM and you are developing an application for HDFC Bank. For HDFC Bank, you are developing an app. Then what HDFC Bank will do is, HDFC Bank have some modules very private. those data they cannot give to you. That means, for example, customer account details and customer related credit cards transaction details. They need a credit card payment module and everything, but they can't share the data with you. That is not safe. Then how? If they don't share the data, how I design? They cannot share. Then how to design if they don't share the data? Then what they ask is, they say that for suppose credit card module, you design a template and give to us. You design a template and give to us. That means we will design one template for credit card and we will give to HDFC. Then how they will implement? Are they software companies? Then how they implement this template? Do they have any software engineers in HDFC Bank? Is HDFC Bank having any software engineers? Yes, they have. That is very rare. Very rarely you will find such jobs. Direct HDFC, ICICI banks asking for Java developer, .NET developer, so full stack developer, very rare. That means very rarely will come, but minimum 10-15 years experience. They have to directly work for the pay scale of ICICI Bank, HDFC Bank. They are software engineers, but they can treat themselves as bank employee. That means they are part of bank now. Now, what is their responsibility? Implement these templates, and data will be with them because they are bank employee now. They are part of bank. This is very rare. Suppose you see here, suppose this is Naukri. If we are lucky, we can find actually. Suppose I given some ICICI bank. Suppose I said some Java developer or software. Very rarely we may find it. I'm not sure that they may be there every time. These are all general people actually. That means this is customer relationship and all. And you can see data center operations. So you can see application developers. Yeah, application support. And you can see minimum 11 to 12 to 15 years experience they want. And some 10 to 20 lakh per annum, that is their pay. And they are application support. And very important here is, means general people will not fit here. Minimum 10 years experience, 12 years experience. Now, what is these people's job? These people's job is implementing the templates developed by their companies. That means somebody developing and we have to implement. Now, what is the concept here is, usually the concept for this is, actually this is very less pay. Sometimes you will see even the pay scale goes up to 50 lakh per annum, 1 crore per annum also. For software engineers, especially working in these areas, their salary will go to 1 crore per annum also. Right? That depends. That because that depends on the scale, and because many people will not be there. Only 1 or 2 people in this one. You can observe in the job requirements, it may be posted 4 months back, 5 months back, but job is not filled. Why? You don't have developers in companies. We have, but nobody dare to go into them. Why? Because that is the toughest job. People who can challenge themselves as a software engineer after 15-10 experience, they can go into such jobs. But this is very risky because there will be no bigger team for supporting. For entire India business, only 2 people will be there. and their responsibility is to manage the support. These days, one headache is from COVID onwards, what companies are doing, they are assigning 2-3 projects to one person for specially experienced people. They can't handle. That's very toughest one. So the point here is, the concept is where we need a template. Template means, now how the template looks like. Template contains all the functionality you need to customize. Now, if the developer says, I want some changes in this design, then the person who is implementing the template, he cannot make changes in the design. The changes must be done by the parent company. They will change the template and give it to you. You as a developer, you have to customize. That means all the implementation details are hidden. Only the functionality is given to you. That functionality you customize. That means complete structure is hidden. Only the functionality is given to you. You customize the functionality. If you want to customize the design, then that person have to do. That means the main company have to do. That company will customize the design and they will send to you. You cannot customize the design. You can just implement the design. That means the complete structure is hidden. Only functionality is given. The process of hiding the structure and giving the functionality is called abstraction. That mechanism is called abstraction. If anybody asks, what is the purpose of an abstract class in any OOP language? The purpose of abstract class is to design templates. To design templates, we use abstract classes. What is the purpose of interface? The purpose of interface is what? Contracts. And the purpose of abstract classes is templates. How? Let's see how the templates are defined. So abstraction is creating the template, right? So you can create, you can configure a template by using abstract class. You can configure a template by using abstract class. So that means actually abstract class comprises of members, of few members, so which are already implemented, and few other members which need to be implemented. So providing the process of hiding the structure and providing only functionality to client is known as abstraction. We call it as abstraction. So if any member is incomplete, it is not finished, you need to implement later, then it is actually configured as abstract. It is configured as abstract. The process of hiding the structure and providing only functionality to client is known as abstraction. Usually we use abstraction for rolling out the templates and implementation of templates. In example, like I showed you bank and all, right? So there are so many things like that. Usually government related lot of data will be there. So banks related several data will be there. All these have these kind of concepts. Do you know these days government employees, we have SAP developers, SAP HANA, SAP government employees. They are training them on SAP because all government offices are using SAP systems now. They are using SAP systems. Entire portal is SAP. Means earlier people have to suppose they need to purchase something. Then for an office, government office, what use they used to do? They put a bill. Due to that, lot of misuse happens. Like they purchase five rupees, they put bill for 1 lakh rupees. Now what government has done from past 1 2 years is they did, I hope you may not know, or you know, they have designed a complete portal system. Government employees, even they want a pencil, they have to order from online portal, just like Amazon. Like, and the head office will send that pencil to them. Even a paper bundle also they have to procure from portal, online portal system now. Everything is digitalized now. And for that they use SAP systems. They use SAS and SAP systems. So we have HANA, SAS, SAP systems used for these government offices and all. So usually in these areas, we design a template and give to them. We design the template. So we create the templates and give to them. They have their own developers which will customize. Right? Usually, this is one concept actually how we can manage. This is example. Let's see how it works. Means how the abstraction works. So how the concept of abstraction works. Let's take one example here. Now I'm creating a simple. First, we need a contract. Now we can use our module system also here. Module system C. I will create a separate project here, suppose. Better to clearly show you. I will create a separate folder system so that you can understand. I will open my computer location. And here I will create a new folder. TypeScript project. Some folder I created. Let's open that in Visual Studio Code. Just for clarity's sake, I created a separate folder. So here I have TypeScript project. Usually now in this project folder, I'm adding some file system. Like we have a folder contracts. So we have another folder templates. So we have another folder that is components. We have a separate folder. And we have another folder app, that is the app. Now in this app, we are having a new file index.js, TS, TypeScript. Now in the contracts, we will put all the rules. In the templates, we will keep all abstract classes. All interfaces will be in contracts. Abstract classes will be in templates. Classes will be in components. Classes will be in components. So what we will do, go to contract. First order is create one contract. We will create a contract that is product contract dot ts. And this product contract, we are creating an interface. Interface name is product contract. Okay, this product contract have some members, like product have a name, string, product have a price, that is number, product have quantity, this is also number, and product have total. Total is a method of number type. and we have print is a method of void type. These are the rules. That is the contract. But when you write anything inside a file, it is accessible only in that file. We need to access outside, then we have to mark it as export. We know that we have to mark it as export. Okay, in contracts, we have one contract. Okay, after that, now let's go to the templates. In templates, we will add a new file. This is product template.ts. Now in this product template, we have to import the contract. So import, import method, import which one? Import product contract. So we have to import product contract from which location? So which location? // in that contracts, in the contracts product contract. From that file we have to import. Now we can use that contract here. Now I need to design a template. Template means some functionalities are implemented, some are pending. If you are designing a class which contains some incomplete members, then we can mark the class as export abstract class. What is the class name? Class name is suppose product template. This is a class. Why it is marked as abstract? Because it is a template. It has some incomplete features. If any class is having incomplete members, the members which are not having functionality, then we should mark the class as abstract. And abstract class, this should be according to the contract. Thus means this class will implement, it implements which one? Product contract. If it implements product contract, according to the contract, you have to define all the members. Then see what I am doing here. So public, according to the contract, we have name. This name is what type? String. And in that, we initialized some string. Similarly, we have public, we have price. This is what type? Number. We initialized some number. We defined another one, quantity. Quantity is number. We initialized some number. Another one, what we need? Total. Total is not my job. Total is their job. That means we will give to client people, they will implement the total. Total and print, they will take care. That's not our responsibility. Then we will write like this, abstract, so public, so total. So that means public. So what is the method name? Total. Total. So and total is a method. And what this total method have to return? It should return a number. Like this, we define action. And you see, it is saying that public must be after abstract. That means here we have public, abstract, and total. That's how we define. Remember, this is not a method which is having functionality. Functionality means you put a block. If you are not defining a block, that means its functionality is not there. We just mentioned a total whose functionality will be implemented by client. Okay, next, another one, public, abstract. Another one is print. This is a void one. These two members need to be implemented by client. What about the above three? Already we implemented by initializing empty string, 0, and all these things. So any member in a class is incomplete. It is not defined with a functionality, then it should be marked as abstract. If any class is having at least one abstract method, then entire class must be marked as abstract. If you don't mark the class as abstract now, then it will show error. it says that in an ordinary class, you cannot have abstract members. That means the class must be marked as what? Abstract. So the template is ready. This template will be implemented by our client. That means now what he will do? He will not implement this template. He will extend this template because already in the template structure is there. I don't need to implement. I need to just extend. Extend means add more functionalities for total and print. That means now see, we will go to components now. In the components, we will add a new file. This is product component. Product component.ts. This is product component. Here we have to import which one? Product template from templates. From templates, we will import the product template. And we will create a class, export class. Class name is product component. This product component extends the product template. It extends the product template. That means already product template is having some functionality. Already it is having some functionality. That functionality we have to extend. Which are already implemented, use them. Which are not implemented, you implement them here. That means the functionalities which are implemented, you use it. For example, name I'm using here as suppose Samsung TV, like this. Price I'm defining as some string. How it is showing error? I haven't mentioned any data type. Then how it is showing error? It is saying that price must be not a string, it should be a number. How it is telling that? Because the structure of this is coming from a template. Now your developer no need to design the structure. Structure is already there. Structure is hidden. Only the functionality you need to use. That means hiding the structure and giving only the functionality. That means now they know that there is a name, but can they change the data type of the name? They cannot change. That should be done by the people who designed the structure. So structure is hidden. Only template is given to you. Only functionality is going to you. You have to implement the functionality. What is your job? You can't change the structure. If you want to change in the structure, you should ask the parent company again, saying that I want a change in this field. Then they will take the template back. They will make the changes and they will send the template again. You are not responsible for changing the structure. You are responsible for only implement. That means now price is some number. Okay. After that, so we have quantity. Quantity is also number. And after that, total. Total is a function which we need implementation now. Why it is showing error? Because it should return a number as per the rules. That means it should return this dot quantity into this dot price. Now we need another one. What is it? Print. Print. So print is an void type. What it should return? Console.log, and it should print the details. And remember, total is a number. Total print is a void. All these are already structured. You cannot make total to return a string because its structure is already defined. You just use to use it. Now here I am printing name is equal to some this dot name, and in the next line price is equal to this dot price. In the next line some quantity is equal to this dot quantity. In the next line some total is equal to this dot total here. So these are the options we are defining. This is enough. Now your component is ready. What is the job of your developer in a rollout or template implementation? Implement the functionalities which need to be implemented. Pending. So others already implemented, use them. You have to extend. So now it is ready. Now we need to use this in our app. And you know how to use that. We have to import which component, product component from components. And how to use it. Very simple. We create a TV, which is an object of product component class. And through the TV, we can print the details. This is how the structure is designed. That means this is your developer C in the final stage. That means our component is actually library is designed like this. Every library is designed in this way. You saw so many components ready-made in material UI. And all those components are designed like this only. They have a contract. They have abstract classes. Remember, complete React library is designed in TypeScript. React.js library is completely designed in TypeScript. If you go to the source of the library, you will see TS, TypeScript. Complete React is built with TypeScript, right? It is a JavaScript technology, but it is completely built. Library is built with TypeScript because it supports OOP. You cannot build a professional library without all OOP features. It is very difficult to build a library without OOP features because library needs templates, contracts, and JavaScript don't have them. So JavaScript is not a professional language for building a good, effective library. So entire React is built with TypeScript. React is designed by using TypeScript, right? Usually, several concepts, if you see, I showed you now. You can see right click and you can select view the source where it is coming from. So you see right click and say go to definition. It will take to the definition of that particular component, right? Usually the definition is it is component. Component is coming from where? Template. Right click, go to definition. It gets the template. Template is using this contract. Go to definition. Contract is this. That is the hierarchy. And just you need to run this index. Remember, you don't need to compile these files separately. You compile your index, it will compile all of them. That is what dependency injection working. Because it knows its dependencies. It can compile those dependencies and inject their logic here. So you run this index.js and see. I will open in Explorer and here I will open a command prompt and the tsc, what is it? Index.ts. And let's run. It will compile. And interestingly, you will see all files are generated with JS now. Component JS, contract JS, template JS. Just you need to run your node index.js. This is the result. So abstraction is hiding the functionality, hiding the structure and giving the functionality. That is the aim of abstract classes. So all these days, how you define about abstract interfaces, we don't know, but this is the architectural technical definition. That means in a software project, why interfaces are used? For developing contracts. Why abstract classes are used? For designing templates. That is the aim. And why components are used? Component means ordinary classes, because they are used to build application built by using components. And Generally, some definitions are there, like you cannot create an object for abstract class. Why you cannot create an object for abstract class? How you will create it is an incomplete class. Abstract class is an incomplete class. That means some functionalities are implemented, some functionalities need to be implemented. Then how you will create an object? You cannot create an object for abstract class. You have to extend, implement, and then create an object for the component and use it. This is a very important hierarchy you need to know, right? That is the concept of abstraction. So here example, so add, here I given the steps here, add following folders into project. We have app, one folder is app, another folder is contracts, another folder is templates, another folder is components. We have to start with contracts. In contracts we have product contract dot ts. In product contracts, I will just define the rules. These are the rules. Next we have templates, product template dot ts. In product template, we have to implement the rules and define. Some functionalities we implement, some need to be implemented. Then we have templates and we have components. In components, we have a product component dot ts. Now you can see this is a product component. And here we define. This is the product component. Now finally, one more is there. The fifth one, what is it? The fifth one is the app. We have some index.ts. In app index.ts, we have to create a simple object for that and we need to access. That is the process. And what we have to do is, so tsc index.ts and node index.js. That's how we do. That is the basic of how we can manage the abstract classes here. This is one additional thing you need to know, right? Next important, in the concept of TypeScript, you have generics. Generics are actually generic is used to configure type safe members. They are used to configure type safe members. What is a type safe member? They are used for configuring type safe member. Type safe member means, for example, I want to declare a variable, but I am not sure what type of data will come. Then how to declare a variable? We need to declare a variable and I am not sure what type of data will come. Then what should be the data type for variable? We can use data type as any. After you define data type as any, it is ready to take any type. And what you have done, it is ready to take any type. And what you have done, you initialized a number. Once it takes number, it should not allow anything else. That means starting, you don't know the type. So you declared as any. After that, you know the type. Once you know the type, it should not allow any another type. But if you configure as any, then it will allow any another type. That means what is the point here is, suppose I will add one more file here separately. Yeah, let's do some changes in this only. Yeah. Suppose we are having let some value is what type? So this is any type. If it is any type, into the value I entered number. That means into the value I configured a number. Into the val I entered number. Later into the val I am entering a string. It will take. I mentioned as any because initially I don't know. But later I know that a number is coming. Then I have to fix this number. And remember, this should be open to any type. In next situation, it can take a string. And after that, it should fix to string. That means initially it don't know what type. Once it knows the type, it should not allow another type. How it is possible? That means how you can declare any member like that. If you say any, it will accept any. If you say number, it is always number. You can use union of types. But important is we are not sure what type will come. In that case, you cannot create a union of several types. So then how you manage? This is done by generics. This is done by generic. What is the concept of generic? Generic is type safe. Type safe means initially, so it is open. It is open to handle any type of value. Initially, it is open to handle any type of value. Once it knows the value, it will not allow any another type. It will not allow any another type. That is the nature of generic. That means once it knows, it will not allow any another type. That is the concept of generic. And important, you can use generic for so many things. That means in TypeScript, you can have a function. A function can be generic. Function parameters can be generic. Function parameters can be generic. A method can be generic. So method parameters can be generic. Method are different, functions are different. Methods are allowed in a class. Method parameters can be generic. A property can be generic. A class can be generic. So generic can be used for different situations. That means a function can be generic. A method can be generic. Parameters can be generic. So let's see one simple point, how we configure the generic members. So I will show here. I will create a function here. The function name is some demo. This demo function is having A and B, two values it is having. Now the point is the demo function should be in such a way that it should able to handle A and B any type. But once it knows what type of data is coming, it should not allow any another type. That means initially A, B data type is unknown. But later, once you tell the data type, it should fix that. It should not allow any another type. So then I want this function to be generic. Then you can define after the function name in an angle bracket, you can define the type. Actually, people have an habit of giving T as for type. You can give A, B, C, X, Y, Z, anything. It doesn't matter. It is just a reference to tell type. It is a type. and A will be the type and B will be the type. That means what is the data type of A and B? That is decided by the demo function when you start it. When you start the demo function, it will decide what should be the A and B type. So now that means now what happens here is I am printing console.log. We will print the value of A and B. That means what I will do here, A is equal to some A, and in the next /n, and we will print B is equal to the value of B. Now how to access that demo? We are accessing demo. In the demo, in the angle bracket, I am mentioning the type as number. Then automatically A and B will be number type now. They will not allow any another type. That means you cannot pass any another type. That means it is fixed that A and B must be only numbers. Do we know the data type earlier? No. Once we start using, we mention the type, then it will fix the type. So generics are initially type safe and later they are strongly typed. And why we cannot use any? If I use any, what will happen? A will be any, B will be any. Then one can be number, another can be string. I don't want like that. All should be number. All should be Boolean. All should be string. Then you just define here. So 10 and 20, something like this. Now same demo function I'm using again. This time I pass a string into it. Now automatically A and B become string. A and B become string. You can't handle any another type now. That means the function is ready to handle any kind of value. Once you pass the value, it will not allow any another type of value. That is the nature of generic. So here, this is string type. Some string, suppose Samsung, and another string, some TV. Like this, there must be. And I'm running this. That means you can see tsc index.ts and node index.js. That is number, this is string. So we can create type safe members. Now the question is, this is actually generic function. As I told you, generic can be not only for function, it can be for parameters. Now function is generic, parameters are generic. A class can be generic, class methods can be generic, class parameters, properties can be generic. I will tell you one real-time example. For example, you are using fetch method. Best example, I will tell you fetch. What kind of data fetch method can fetch? It can fetch array or it can fetch an object. What will be the response of fetch? Fetch will return a response on then. First response will be binary. Second response, will it return object or will it return array? Will it return an object? Will it return an array? So very important. Suppose you are writing fetch. And here you are writing some URL. Actually, this URL is going to return array. It is going to return array. Then you have this then function. This then will return a response. This response is what type? First then is binary, another then. Another then is what type? It is array type. It is an array type. Response is array type. Now, suppose this URL is using an object. What should be the response? Response will be object type. Object type. If I use, for example, if this is an object, then response will be an object. And by mistake for this on this object, I use a map, then it will show an error. It will show an error saying that you cannot map on object. That means fetch method is open to handle any type. But once it knows the type, it will not allow any another type. That means once it knows that it is an array, it will not allow to handle any other operation other than array operation. How it is doing this? How it can fetch any kind of data and work for only for the data? How it can fetch any kind of data and work only for that data? Response will be only for the data. How it is possible at all? That means internally it is a generic type. That means it is open to handle any type. Once it knows the type, it will fix to that particular type. That is the generic. We will see one example here. Suppose I will show one real level example here. Suppose we have a contract interface, that is Oracle. That is an contract Oracle. Oracle have user ID, that is a string type. Oracle have password, that is a string type. And Oracle having database. Database is a string type. That means to connect with Oracle like database, you need these classes, these members. We have another interface like MongoDB. Usually MongoDB requires only URL. It requires only URL, what type? String. Now we have another interface. We have like MySQL. And this MySQL will have a host name, that is string type. So it will have user, that is a string type. And it will have password, that is also string type. And it will have DB name. DB name is also a string type. These are the details for just database. Database, this is string type. That means every database have different connections. Now I want to create one class. I want to create a class called database. This class should able to handle any kind of database. That means this database class must able to handle any kind of database. That means now the question for a developer is, there are different databases in the world. To communicate with all databases, for every database, will you design a separate class? No. We will create only one class which can work for any kind of database. How it is possible? How one class can work for different types of database? How it is possible at all? How you can create a class so that it can work for different types of database? Then what we will do is, here we can make this class. We can make this. There are so many techniques. We can make this class as generic. And in this class, we have a constructor. And this constructor is having a parameter. This constructor is having a parameter called connection string. This connection string is generic type. And whatever the connection string they pass, I should print it. Then I will use a for var property in connection string. And I need to print console.log, print the property. That means here I will print the property and I will print the value of property, connection string of property. It will print the value of that property. This is what we are doing. Now we created a class as generic. And observe carefully. Now I want to connect with Oracle. LET Oracle is equal to new which class? Database. But database is a generic. Then into the database, we will pass I Oracle contract, then automatically it will take only Oracle connection string. It will not take any other value. You should pass correct Oracle connection. That means now what should be the connection string? It is an object which should contain what? According to Oracle, it should contain user ID. User ID is caught something like this. It should contain password. Password must be what? Some tiger, something like this. It should contain database. Database must be some employee EMPDB something. Now, very important, according to the contract, if you miss anything in the connection string, it shows error saying that user ID is not there. That means you have to mention that in that. Now your class is working for which database? It is working for Oracle. Now, similarly, I will create here, just put a console.log. This is a connection connecting to Oracle. Like this, I defined. Connecting to Oracle, we configured. Now here I am writing another console.log. This is suppose this is connecting to MongoDB, something like this. And if we want the option to print LET, so Mongo is equal to new database. Into that, we will pass I MongoDB. If I pass I MongoDB, then you can see that the connection is MongoDB connection. That means here I cannot pass any user ID because it says that it is having only one URL. And URL is suppose MongoDB:/127.001. So :27017, like this, we are defining something. So you designed a class in such a way that it can work for different databases. And once it is working for any specific database, it will be strictly for that database only. It will not allow any others. How a member can be like that? That means it is ready to open for everybody. And once it knows, it cannot handle others. That is the concept of generics, right? So this is one example for generic. I will run this here and you can see this is TSC and a node. You can see connecting to Oracle, connecting to MongoDB. You can have generic members. I will show you a different point also now. For example, this is one example I will give here. This is an example for generic. So just I written this in a index.ts. That's the code we written there. Now, important, I will show you another which will be more convenient. Another option is, suppose we have an interface. iProduct is an interface. This is having the product name, string type, and price, which is number type. Suppose I am just giving only two details. Now we are creating a class called fetch. This fetch is going to be a generic type. And into that fetch, we will define a constructor. This constructor will be using the data. Data is generic type. The data is a generic type. And whatever data comes, it should able to print the data. Just temporarily, I will use console.log. We need to print the data, whatever data comes. It is an array or object or something. So here we just used it. Now see the point here. We are using an object product. So suppose this is product. We are using new fetch. Into that, we will pass iProduct. That means it is expecting one product related details. That means it is expecting one product related details. It should have a name and it should have a price. It's mandatory to mention these details for that. Now I am creating another one, LET products. It should take multiple products. That means same method should work for one object. It should work for an array. Then you see now I can make it as I product array type. I product array type. That means now this time it is an array of product types. Array of product types. So this is not one object. This is expecting multiple now. You have to pass an array of object. And every object should have a name, some say mobile, and it should have some price. And that is the price. And another object. So it is watch, and it should have some price. We created one method which can work for all of them. That means remember, it is not different data. It is different collections. One time it is using object, another time it is using an array. That means now the fetch can return an object, it can return an array. That means you see now when we run this, so we run this and it is going to, compile. Okay. And we run this and it is going to run and display them. The first one is an object and second one is an array. And not only for this, any kind of data this fetch can work, right? That is how actually the generics are designed. This is the concept of generic. So this is very important to understand how generics work, right? So the abstractions and another one is generics. These are the major important. One more new thing you will find here is people use very much, that is enum. We use an enum. Enum is nothing but it is an enumeration with collection of constants. It's a collection of constants. Actually, you can create an enum in JavaScript also. How to create a collection of constants? To create a collection of constants in JavaScript, what you do? You define a constant, some enum is equal to array. That's it. That means what is the meaning of constant? Constant means it needs initialization. Without initialization, we cannot have a value. That means what is the meaning of constant? Every value must be initialized. Every value must be initialized. So enum is a collection of constant, and important, what is about constant? Every constant must be initialized. Every constant must be initialized. We have to initialize every constant. And what is the specialty about enum is, here, if you haven't initialized a constant, it will auto implement. That it can do for numbers. Actually, enum can have collection of number constants. So constants, it can have string constants, and it can have expression. It can have a number string expression. Many times people are having a wrong idea, like they have an idea like enum is a collection of numeric constants. That is wrong definition. Many times online you see people give such definition. Enum is a collection of numeric constants. It's wrong. It can have string constants, expression as constant, anything. But here problem is actually number constants have auto implementation. Number constants have auto implementation. That means they are going to implement the values automatically if you don't define values for them. If you don't define the values for them, they are going to automatically implement value. They are going to automatically configure the value. The how they are going to implement the value automatically. For example, you see now I am defining. So enum and enumeration name. Suppose I am giving status codes. Status codes is an enum. In this, we have as not found, and it is defined with some 404. That is the value. That is one value. Constant. It must be initialized. Suppose I have server error. Server error. Now I am not giving any value. If I am not initializing any value, it automatically implements. Based on the previous value, it will take the next value. That means now what is server error? It is 405. That means it have the ability to implement the value automatically based on previous. Suppose above I mentioned as method. Then what is the value of method? It will be 0. Why? Because the first value starts always with 0. It depends on previous value. Is there any previous value? No. If there is no previous value, the first value will be 0. That means auto implementation doesn't depend on the next value. It depends on the previous. If previous value is 404, next value will be 405. If there is no previous value, it is 0. It starts with 0. That means this method is 0. It starts with 0. If you initialize, then it will be initialized 302. That is initialized. Then this is 404. Then this will be 405. Now, if you don't mention the initialization here, then what is the value for not found? 303, and server error is 304. That means it will go and implement the value one by one. That means it is a collection of constants. So you can configure the collection of constants. So that means you can define anything or you can leave them. Automatically they take the implementation. So this is and how do we access? So console.log, in that we say suppose not found, and how to access the not found value. We have to access enum name status codes dot the not found. It you can access. That means it is going to return the number. It is going to return the number. You can see it is going to return the number and display. Enum is a collection of constants. And very important here is that is the general thing. First example here. You can have collection of string constants also, but string constants don't have auto implementation. That means, for example, this not found, I defined as string, page not found, like this I defined. Now, next one is error. Why it is error? Because it cannot implement a string. It cannot implement a string. So you cannot implement any string. It can implement only if it is a number. That means now it should have some option 502 something. You can have a combination of string constants or number constants. You can have both. Now it is going to return not found, means page not found. It will display that. Actually, so you can have both combinations. One is string and number. You can have even expression also as constant. Expression also as constant. That means you can have A is equal to 10, B is equal to 20, C is equal to A plus B. It is also a valid one. Now we want to print here addition. Addition is stored in status codes. In status codes, it is stored in C. You can have an expression also in constant. But remember, You can have expression as constant, but enum will not allow, even will not allow Boolean value. That means there cannot be a Boolean expression. That means A greater than B. It cannot be. That means enum doesn't allow Booleans. If anybody asks why it will not allow Boolean, Boolean values or Boolean expressions are not allowed. In some interviews, they ask this question in different way. They ask like, which operator is not allowed in enum? Which operator is not allowed means any operator which returns a Boolean result, it is not allowed. Greater than, less than, all this. Why Booleans not allowed? Because it is a constant. Constant cannot change. Na? Can a constant change? Can you assign any value into constant? No. Boolean must be changing. That means Boolean should have true. True should be changed to false. False should be changed to true. You cannot change. Constants means the value cannot change. Once you initialize it, they are fixed. You cannot change. In that case, how there can be a Boolean? There cannot be Boolean. Right? So Booleans are not allowed. That means if you try write A greater than B, it's not allowing. So that means it allows only expressions which return a number. That means you can configure this. It allows an expression which returns a number. You can see. So enum can have expression. You can have expressions also in enum. You can have string, you can have expression, anything. So that is important. One more, in interviews, they ask what is enum reverse mapping. In interviews, they ask what is enum reverse mapping. Reverse mapping is nothing but, so important reverse mapping means, for example, we have not found. Not found, its value is 404. Now, how to access this? To access this, what we have to do? So we should define here the code. So how do we access the code? Code is what? How to access the code? Status codes dot not found. And in the next line, I want to print the message. Message is nothing but I want to access this property with reference of value. You can access property with reference of value. That is called reverse mapping. That is nothing but status codes of 404. It will return the property. That means by using property, you can access value. By using value, you can access property also. That is called reverse mapping. By using the value, you can access the property. That means now it is going to print both. It is going to print the code. It is going to print the code and this message. That is actually reverse mapping. So this is an example of enum reverse mapping. Reverse mapping. This is a simple point of working with enum. Generally, HTTP status codes, you have seen in backend, we return app.get, app.post, app.this, means get method, post method. All these are enums. They are having a fixed constant initialize. They're all enums. HTTP verbs, get, post, put, delete, error codes, because error codes are fixed, they don't change. 404 means not found. There is nothing else. These are all actually designed by using enums, a fixed set of constants, so that we can access and we can use anywhere, right? This is the concept of enums. So we have generics and we have enums. So this is actually enough to start designing an application with React and TypeScript. Actually, I told you TypeScript is a huge language. It's a very big language, right? What you are learning is what is needed for React. So what is needed for React that you are learning, right? So now once you know the data types, properties, how to declare, initialize. Now working with a React application with TypeScript is very simple. That means just very simple. Nobody need to even teach you. You by seeing it, you can understand. So let's see a TypeScript React application, how it looks like. How to create. So creating a React application, with the TypeScript as language. How do we create that? What changes you will see? Same command. We have to use npx. What we have? Create React app, and you have to define app name, and we give template as what? TypeScript. That's what you have to do. Make sure that TypeScript is first installed in your PC, which already we done, right? Otherwise it will not work, right? So you have to make sure that TypeScript is installed, then we can start using TypeScript here. That's a very simple process. And let's see, do we see any change or not? We will observe here. You can see actually in my D drive. Okay, so let's say in D drive, we will create an app. Let's go here directly cd slash, yeah. In D drive, I am running the command npx create React app, and app name is some React TypeScript. That is the app name I given. You can give any name, React TypeScript, and we will give template. Template is what? TypeScript. That's what we are defined. So it will create a React application for you, but this time it will not use JavaScript as language. It will use TypeScript. And here, what is the basic thing is here .ts you have to use for contracts. You have to use for templates. You have to use for what else? Contracts and templates. You have to use TS. We have contracts, templates only na these two. And for components, we have to use TSX. This is for components. Components have to use this. That means when you add a new file, if it is a component file, you use TSX. If it is a contract or a template, then you use TS. That's how we configure. And what is the change you will observe that? What is the change you will see? What it is going to happen? Few changes are very simple to understand. So even in the project infrastructure also, you will not see much changes. Everything looks exactly same like what you have seen in JavaScript app. One additional thing about TypeScript, some configurations will come. About TypeScript, they will add some configurations. Rest of your entire library is same. That means you use Axios, you use Formic, all same process, installing, using, everything same. No change. Only the point is data type declaration, creating the contracts for configuring. Those only the change, right? You will find generics very much here. Generics, generally when you use state is a generic type. When you are fetching data from API, everything is generic types. We will see generic types very much here. Okay, it is done. Let's see, is there any change in the project environment which is very much complex to understand? See, let's open the folder. This is a React TypeScript. Okay. And I will open the project here. And you will see in this project, there is no change except one file. There is no change except one file, tsconfig.json. This already I explained. This will contain the rules of rules. They are defined, but show you how to generate that actually. That's the one is same. You are having everything same. Index.html, src, all same. Only the point instead of JS, it will have what? TSX. And see the code inside. Inside the code app.tsx, it is same everything. And observe carefully, they haven't mentioned any return type and all. They have by default everything same, no change. Index.tsx, everything same, no change. You will not find any change. The change will be only with the data you are dealing with. That means you are fetching some data from an API, presenting the data. So because what is the concept of TypeScript? Strongly typed nature. Another important here, we want to create. Now this is, don't save, fine. Now you see here, everything is similar. The executing everything is similar. It will start with which one? App. It is going to start with app component. Suppose we want to create one component. Go to SRC, we will add a folder. What is that folder? Components, and we will add a new file. New file is home component.tsx. Extension should be TSX. Now, I want this component to fetch data from fake store and display. We want to fetch data from fake store and display. Then what we do is, in SRC, we will create a contracts folder, contracts. And here we need to design a contract. This contract is for whom? This is for product contract. So product contract, contract dot what? TS. In this interface, we have to create a contract for product contract. You can give any shorter name like I product or something, product contract. In this, according to the data, it contains an ID, which is what type? Number. It contains a title. Title is what type? Title is a string type. It contains image. Image is what type? String. It contains description. Description is what type? String. It contains some price. Price is what type? Number. So it contains what else? Category. Category is what type? String. It contains rating. Rating is object which contains rate, number, and count. This is also number. This is all the data that fake store is having. This is the fake store contract. This is the fake store contract we have. So this is the fake store contract. Reasonably, I will do one thing. Fake store contract. Okay. I will change the name as fake store contract. We have fake store contract .ts. This is the fake store contract we are having. Now we need to fetch the data and use that here. Then everything same. You want to use Axios, then what to do? You have to implement npm install what? Axios. And all these libraries will work in the same way how you have used in JavaScript. No problem. Because all third-party libraries are designed for both JavaScript as well as TypeScript. Right? That means now what we will do here, we will import what to import? Axios from Axios. That we have to import. Another one we have to import. So use state from React. Another one. So we have to import if we want. So we have to import use effect from React. And we have to create export class and the class, or you can say function. And what is the function? Home component. Everything. In this container, I want to fetch the data and display all the categories. I will show here. Suppose I am just temporarily adding a nav bar. In this nav bar, I will just put here a simple select. In that, I want to display all categories coming from API. Then how do we do? Here, we have to import a fake store contract. Fake store contract from where? First, I will give here from which location? .. contract / in that fake store contract. From that, we have to import the fake store contract. Fake store contract we have to define. We need to import that. Why it is not importing? Because it is not marked with export. No? We have to mark it what? Export. Now it is able to access and use it here. Right? You know that it should be marked as export. Now, how you write a state? Constant, same. Categories. Categories is an array. We have set categories and we have to use state. This time, this use state is a generic type. That is only the difference you will find here. Generic type means tell me what type of data it should handle now. Because categories is a string array. That means it is string type array. That's how we need to configure. And it allocates the memory for string type array. This is how we define categories. Now we need another constant. What is the constant? Constant is what? Products. We have set products. This must be use state. It should be fake store product type. That means we already have a contract, fake store contract, fake store contract, what type? Array. Array type fake store contract. Then it should be an array of fake store contract type. Fake store contract type means every member is strongly typed now. That means if I mentioned like product dot some price, suppose I mentioned a spelling mistake, that I will not see at the compile time, means I will not see while typing. While compiling it will show error. While typing it will not notify me that there is price or not. But now what is advantage in strongly typed language? While typing itself it will verify. While typing itself it will verify. Before it goes to compiling it will verify. Previously what happens? After you write, compile and error will come. But now it is going to verify before it is going to compile. That's good. So that is the point here. So let's write here how we are using a simple function. What is the function? Load categories. What this have to do? And remember, if you want to follow the traditional rules, you see already it is a void type. The function is already defined as void type. It's already configured as a void type, right? Why this is by default configuring automatically? Because in the rules of TypeScript, they already mentioned that if data type is not defined, use the type according to the value. What it returns, it will change, right? That is good. So, or there is no problem. You can write manually as what type? Void. We can write, but no need of writing because already in the rules they mentioned it. So you see now here we use Axios. Axios is same method. Method is what? http://fakestoreapi.com/what products/what categories. That means we need to fetch this is URL. Yeah, this is URL. And what is the method? Method is what? Get. We need to fetch that. And what we need to do, if then we will get a response, and this response should be defined in set categories. This response, you see, it is expecting string type array. It is expecting string type array. That means we have response dot what? Data. We need to pass that. Now we will see here another one. So function, what it is? Load products. Load products, it is an void type. And we have same concept here. So but this time is the concept. The method is get. It will get from where? Products. And this is not set categories. This is set products. And observe carefully now. We are writing use effect. And use effect is, you have seen, there is no change anywhere. Only in data type configuration you will find the changes. And you see now I am configuring here. What is that? So we have load categories, one method. Load categories is one method. Another method is what? Load products is another method. These we are defined. Now we need to access and display them here. That means here we are using a binding, and what we have categories and categories dot map, and we read every category and we will print the category as an